Welcome back to English with Tom and Julia, a space where we slow down, reflect, and learn to think in English through the stories that touch real life.
Last time, we talked about dreaming bigger and learning to let money be the tool, not the goal. Today, we're going one step deeper.
Yes, because sometimes the dream isn't about having more, it's about feeling enough. And that's what we're exploring today. The freedom of enough. How to feel rich without having more.
You know, Julia, we live in a world that's always whispering, more is better. More success, more followers, more comfort. But somehow, the more we chase, the emptier we feel.
It's like we've built an entire culture around comparing what we have to what others show. And that quiet voice inside, the one that used to say, I'm okay, now says, I'm behind.
Yes, and that comparison becomes a trap. You can't enjoy what's in your hands because your eyes are always on what's next.
Exactly. And ironically, the people who look richest are often the ones still trying to fill an invisible gap. Can I share something personal, Tom?
Of course.
When I was younger, I had this list of things I thought I needed to be successful. The apartment, the phone, the wardrobe, and I worked so hard to get them. When I finally did, I expected this deep satisfaction to arrive. But instead, I felt almost nothing.
That's powerful. Because I think many people experience that moment when the dream comes true and it doesn't fix what's inside.
Exactly. That day, I remember sitting on the floor of my new apartment, surrounded by things I once wished for, and realizing happiness doesn't live in achievement. It lives in appreciation.
That's beautiful. And you know what? That's the shift. From chasing to cherishing. When we stop asking, what's next, and start asking, what's already here? What if wealth isn't about numbers, but about presence? What if being rich means waking up without anxiety, having time to walk, to call your parents, to eat slowly?
That kind of wealth doesn't fit into a spreadsheet, but it changes your whole quality of life.
Yes, because true freedom isn't about having everything. It's about needing less.
And when you need less, you start feeling lighter. You move through life without the heavy need to prove anything.
Exactly. And suddenly, peace becomes your new luxury.
But let's be honest, it's not easy to feel enough when every message online says you're not.
True. The ads, the social feeds, even the success stories. They make it seem like happiness is just one more purchase away.
But that's the trap, right? Because enough is not something you can buy. It's something you decide.
Yes, enough is a choice. It's the quiet strength of saying, this is good for me right now. This is enough for this season.
It's almost revolutionary to stop running, to stop performing, and just be.
Let's try a little reflection for our listeners. Close your eyes for a moment and think of 3 things you already have that make your life feel rich.
Maybe it's your health, your morning coffee, a message from someone who cares about you.
Now, imagine losing them for a day. What would that feel like?
Suddenly we realize we already have what we used to wish for.
Exactly. Gratitude transforms what we have into more than enough.
I think there's a quiet power in people who know they're enough. They don't need to shout or rush or prove. They walk differently. Lighter, calmer, freer.
Yes. And that energy attracts peace. When you stop chasing, life starts flowing toward you.
It's funny, we spend so much time trying to build a better life, but sometimes what we need is simply to notice the one we already have.
That's the secret of contentment. Realizing that joy doesn't begin when you arrive. It begins when you pause.
So, if you're listening right now, and you've been feeling like you're not there yet, like no matter how hard you work, you're always one step behind, this part is for you.
Yes. Because the idea of enough sounds beautiful in theory, but in real life, it takes practice to feel it. It's something you train your mind to see, the same way you train a muscle.
Exactly. And here's one simple way to start. Each night, before you go to sleep, take 5 minutes. Open a small notebook and write down 3 moments from your day that you're grateful for.
They don't have to be big. In fact, the smaller, the better. Maybe it's the quiet walk to work, the laugh you shared with a friend, or that one deep breath when the day finally slowed down.
Sometimes, I even write things like the sunlight on my desk or the sound of rain outside. Tiny, ordinary things, but they anchor you to the present.
And that's the point. Gratitude doesn't change what you have. It changes how you see what you have. And the moment your perspective shifts, you start to feel full again.
Yes, and if you do this every day for just a week, you'll start to notice something subtle. Your mind stops rushing ahead to what's missing. It starts resting in what's already here.
That's so true. Because most of our stress comes not from what's happening right now, but from imagining everything we don't have yet. Gratitude pulls you back into the now.
And here's something interesting. Scientists have found that gratitude literally rewires your brain. It strengthens the neural pathways that help you feel contentment and peace.
Exactly. And over time, that practice becomes your power. Because once you feel full inside, the outside world can't control your happiness anymore.
That's the real kind of freedom. You stop depending on outcomes, on promotions, on likes, on approval, and start depending on presence. Yes, presence becomes your currency. Peace becomes your wealth.
Let's make it practical for our listeners tonight. After you write your 3 things, ask yourself one small question. What did I do today that felt aligned with who I want to be?
That question helps you see progress, not in money or numbers, but in growth. And growth is a kind of wealth, too.
Exactly. Because when you recognize how you've grown, you stop comparing and start appreciating the quiet transformation that's happening inside you every day.
So if you're listening to this while walking or lying in bed, take a deep breath right now. Think of one thing from today that made your life just a little better.
Hold that thought for a few seconds. Feel it. That's enough. It's not about settling. It's about seeing the richness that's already part of your life.
And the more you notice it, the more it grows. Because what you focus on expands.
Yes. And when you focus on enough, you realize something powerful. You were never lacking. You were just distracted.
Beautifully said. And maybe that's what true gratitude does. It brings your attention back to the quiet abundance that was there all along.
Exactly. Because abundance isn't about more things. It's about more awareness.
So tonight, let's make a quiet promise to stop counting what's missing and start noticing what's already here.
And maybe, just maybe, that's where the real peace begins. So maybe that's what enough really is. Not a limit, but a kind of freedom.
Yes, freedom from chasing, freedom from comparing, freedom from believing you need to become someone else to be happy.
When you start living from that place, you stop surviving and start being.
And maybe that's what true wealth feels like. The quiet confidence that you already have enough to live, love, and grow.
Thank you for being here with us today. If this episode helped you slow down or breathe a little deeper, share it with someone who might need that same reminder.
Yes, because sometimes all someone needs is to hear, "You're already enough."
You've been listening to English with Tom and Julia, a podcast where language meets life, and where every word brings you closer to peace.
We'll see you next time, where we'll talk about something close to the heart.
Until then, take care of your peace.
And remember, you are already enough.